cheating.
I did just did a little bit of Google research. And I found it.
People live in Savannah.
Yeah, there are less than 200,000 in Savannah. Less than 200,000 people live in Savannah. Yet we have 13 million people come here every year. And we're going to break those numbers up. Can everyone see? Okay. We're going to break those numbers up into the green side is overnight trips. That's the 56% of that 7.3 million people. Day trips are 24% of the area's guests, and that's 5.7 million people. So we're going to look at the numbers in a couple of different ways. We're going to look at the overnight trips, who they are, what they spend, how they look, and we're going to look at the day trippers, who they are, what they spend, how they interact and experience Savannah. So let's take a look at the purpose. Why do they come to Savannah in the first place? And these are overnight travelers, and for the most part, they're leisure travelers. But we have a larger business population of about 11%, and these people are coming to conferences in Savannah, like the Preservation Conference that's coming in November. And so we have a larger number of people studying business or looking at business and our overnight guests. And it's also leisure for our day trippers as well, and a smaller amount of business. People will be coming here for the day trip by business reasons. So let's take a look at the demographics of both our overnight and day trippers. You can see that for the day trippers, it's mostly female. For the overnight visitors, it's mostly male. I don't know what that says about us or what that means, but those are the numbers that we found. By the way, this is all based on Longwood's study, which was a study started in 1985. It helps organizations like mine study the guests, and we spend a lot of time and money studying the guests, who they are, what they do in Savannah, how they interact, how they spend money, and what we can do to attract them to do that work. Right? The next one is age. How old are these people? And Emily was, and I was talking earlier, she said, was it mostly older people? And I suppose 25 to 44 is an older crowd. That's certainly the largest group that is represented for our visitors in Savannah, because we have a lot of historical places and historical facts and figures. Mostly it does attract someone who's 25 to 44, but in general, those are the groups that have money to spend to travel. I mean, right now you're probably not going on a lot of vacations right now because you're just focused on, I gotta get through school or have a job or blah, blah, blah. So the 25 to 44-year-olds usually have money to spend. The next, let's look at race. It's mostly white people who come here, but we do have, and are growing, are African Americans. We have a lot of African American heritage. If you don't know the stories of the African American heritage in Savannah, it's some really fascinating stories. So we have, that is certainly a growing trend in our tourism sector. Also, we are going to look at the spending. So this is in journalism. This is where I came from. I was a journalist for many years. One person told me, and this is a great story, whenever you're trying to find out what people are about, you follow the money, right? So here we're going to follow the money and see what they're spending and what they're doing. So mostly the day trippers, they're going to be spending money on food and beverage. Okay, so they're eating out, they're going to bars. This is what they're going to spend most of the money on. But we'll see this a little bit later. They also spend money on retail. So this is all the shops on Broughton. This is the souvenirs. This is the things that they're going to take home. And we find a lot of our day trippers are from the drive area. So they're just driving in from a rural part of Georgia or South Carolina. And they're coming in to do their shopping in Savannah. Now, from most of you who are from bigger cities, you may clearly be shopping in Savannah, right? But if you live in Moultrie, Georgia, you are going to come to Savannah for sure to buy something and go shopping for things. 50% is recreation, which is all the fun things you do. You go to a show, you go to a trolley tour, you go to live music, you go to a festival. This is just the fun extracurricular activities. And 18% is transportation, the money that they spend while they're here getting gas, renting cars, or riding the bus, taking taxis, this sort of thing. So where do they come from? They come from Atlanta, Georgia, mostly. We have 24% of our overall day trippers are driving in from Atlanta. And then you'll see Savannah is number 2, and that may seem kind of confusing. But that was the MSA, or the surrounding areas that are coming into Savannah just to shop, just to see about getting some services and things taken care of they couldn't have in their communities. Jacksonville, Florida, Macon, Miami, Orlando, these are our biggest drive markets in 2013. Now you'll see that most of them are from the Southeast, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, but the very last one, New York. We think this number is going to go up next year for our 2014 numbers, mainly because of one reason. Can you tell me why? Anybody? JetBlue, way to go, JetBlue.
Yeah.
Whenever JetBlue came and offered some really sweet deals on trips to New York, we feel like there will be some more day trippers and overnight visitors as well from New York. I popped up there just a couple of weeks ago because you can, right? So when do they come? They come at spring and at the fall. Those are the busy times for tourism in Savannah. Now, it used to be really dramatic. That January through March was our busy time, and July through September was our busy time, and they were hugely, these numbers were varied greatly. But now we're starting to see that people are coming year-round to Savannah, which is great for the tourism community, but you really feel sorry for those people who are coming in August and it's hot as blazes out there and they're taking a horse-drawn carriage tour or something. Yeah, that's okay. So what are they doing while they're here? While they're here, they're mainly shopping. And you wouldn't think of that. Normally you might think, oh, when they come here, they're taking a tour, or they're going on doing this. But they're mainly shopping. And you can see the U.S. norm is notated in the yellow right there. So I don't know if you can see this, but 38% of our day trippers are shopping. The U.S. norm is 27%. So we are way exceeding that in terms of shopping. So in terms of the HP link, as you were thinking, all the things that it can do, I was thinking through in shop windows, if one store might lead to another store. If you are focused on buying things for kids, then it might interact with something that would take you to kids' activities that you can do. Or beachfront is another big one, landmark stores. So I think one could lead to the other in terms of the way that the live paper would interact. And it's so cool, these projects. So all visitors have a special interest. One reason that they come, or one major reason they come. For day trippers, it is the historic places. We talked about Savannah history. And it is way larger than the U.S. norm because of the history in Savannah, because of our preservation efforts that I'm excited Susan will be talking about. We do a lot of that, and we have a burgeoning tourism community because of our preservation efforts. So it's been a really good hand in hand. Cultural activities and attractions, culinary experiences. Our culinary experiences are going up in terms of our offerings. 2013, it was kind of neck and neck with the U.S. norm. But as we get festivals like the Savannah Food and Wine Festival, which bring in big names for food and wine, those things will rise as well. So let's talk about social media. How do the guests use their cell phones so that you will know how to integrate your live paper with them? 82% of our travelers, our 13 million, or our day trippers rather, they are going to be using their social media for travel. So while they're here, they're using their smartphone. 44% of them are using their smartphones while they're here. 34% have posted photos while they're here or videos online. 29% have looked at photos or videos online, and anecdotally, I have found that most people are looking whenever they're trying to find where to go eat. They want to see what was offered, and so they're looking at the food pictures or whatever may be offered at that place, and they can know if they're going to make that decision or not. 26% of the travelers read travel reviews online, and the travel, tourism, and hospitality industry, we live and die by reviews, and so we are always concerned about the TripAdvisor review. We are thinking about this nonstop. And then a lot of them looking for travel deals, getting travel advice on social networks, and then they're connecting to others who are interested in travel. So now we're going to look at people who stay overnight. And certainly those people spend more money than the people who just come here during the day. So where it was 499 million that are spending on the day trippers, we have 1.8 billion being spent on the overnight guests. So this represents about 7.3 million people who are staying overnight. They're staying at hotels, lodging properties, B&Bs, and also the Airbnb. Has anyone ever done the Airbnb? It's another growing, we'll look at the numbers of that as well. So their lodging budget is about 41%, 740 million. They also spend a great deal of money on food and beverage, about 433 million, and then retail is about the same as the day trippers in terms of percentages, and their recreation and transportation is also similar. So where do these overnight guests come from? Well, mainly from Atlanta. We have a lot of people in Atlanta. Tourism in Savannah, just to give you an idea of GDP, it represents 14% of our overall GDP. In Atlanta, tourism is big as well, but it is not as big as it is in Savannah in terms of the GDP. So Atlanta, all of them want to get out of the big city. They want to come to Savannah, where life is a little bit slow. What do we call it here in Savannah? Slow-Vanna? Slow-Vanna, where everything's a little bit slower. We're just a little bit more relaxed about things as we go along, right? So a lot of them come from Orlando and Jacksonville, Tampa, Savannah, Georgia. We used to have a good contingency coming from Charlotte, North Carolina, but that has gone down a little bit more. We figure out why, as we try to study this to see why it is. There's a number of variables that it could be. So when are they coming? Well, similarly to the day trippers, it is the spring and the fall, which is our busy times in Savannah. So if you want to have your friends and family come stay in Savannah, the highest prices are going to be from April to June. As you can see, they can charge a lot more during that time. And how long do they stay? Well, they stay on average 2.4 days while they're here when they stay the night in Savannah. Certainly a large part of them stay one night, but the average is 2.4. And just to give you an idea, whenever I talk about 13 million guests, that's 13 million adults. That does not include the children that are involved.